watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
It was a meeting of two cities when the Montego Bay Convention Center hosted cocktails in Kingston at the Spanish Court Hotel, Worthington. Business Access TV was there to share in the moment.
First and foremost, on behalf of the team, I want to say a heartfelt thank you for being here. You could have been at other places, you could have been at other events, you could have been at other functions, but you found the convention center team very well to join us. So thank you again. All right? And so to go into this, again, just welcome, a heartfelt welcome. The Montego Bay Convention Center team is here. We have gone around, we have spoken to a lot of persons, but tonight it's very special for us because so many familiar faces, so many partners, so many clients, returning clients, possible clients, and the list goes on. So again, you will not hear me enough to say thank you, because that's a word that from the convention center, it's a part of us, and we really take pride in showing appreciation. This evening is truly special for us, for it has been a long time coming. Kingston has been a long time coming. And, Montego Bay Convention Center, of course, we opened our doors in 2011 and to the events and meeting industry. And, but connecting with our friends and our partners in Kingston has always been on the top of our mind. Over the years, we have received substantial support from our clients in Kingston. Therefore, this event had to be in our cards. And of course, we have a large deck, but you're on top of that deck. And we know good things happen in Kingston. So like many other parishioners, we packed up everything and we headed into Kingston on the town bus yesterday. Some of the team came in, when was it? Monday. And they say, Aaron, the traffic. And I said, it can't be worse than Montego Bay. And we found ourselves here sitting in this room 5:30 because we've said there's not one partner that is standing in front of us now that is going to be here and not see a team member from the convention center representing. So again, team, thank you. Hopefully, any guests tonight, and this is not meant to mean anything, but any guests tonight that have never experienced the convention center, unfortunately, you're in the minority. But what we want you to do when you're in Montego Bay, please come and visit. Sit with us, have lunch. Let's tour you. Let's show you the technology. Let's show you what some of our partners in this room have done with us. We have transformed the convention center. And of course, there are many events. And one of the things that we had looked at is how we put all the assets, the available assets, through our vendors, through our partners, together to really make the convention center what it is. The purpose of the convention center was never a self-sustained entity. It's to really contribute to economic development. And what we're measured on is not only profitability, but our economic impact. And we've seen it, especially in Montego Bay. But one of the initiatives that we had is to bring Kingston a little bit to Montego Bay as well through our friends and partners that are here tonight. So the Montego Bay Convention Center represents opportunities, one for us to think differently and see possibilities for now and the future. The center firmly places Jamaica as a viable destination for meetings, conferences, exhibitions, and of course, a selection of certain sporting activity that relates to sport tourism. So while the honor is mine to welcome you, I always want to thank you for taking the time out in engaging with us. Think differently. That is what I want to drive in your thought process when it comes to the Montego Bay Convention Center. Let us work with the possibility. Let us make the possibilities become a reality. The sales and events team, they're here tonight. And I really want to identify the team members. I know when it comes to this part, they tend to just come together. And when I start to call the names, they're going to raise their hands and they're going to say who they are. And of course, we all know them. So leading the sales and events team is, of course, our director of sales and events, Miss Mavoy Smith. Of course, there's Mavoy. We do have the sales managers with us tonight. You do have Donald Thompson. Where's Donald? Donald? There he is. There he is. Thank you, Donald. And of course, you have Alexia. Thank you, Alexia. And there's one lady here that she's a blend of food and beverage and sales. We call her catering sales. That's Trishani. So food is always important. So Trishani, thank you again. Trishani Austin. Our senior events manager, Kyan Henton. Many of you know Kyan. Many of you have been exposed to Kyan. Spearheading the senior events. Thank you, Kyan. So again, we have one lady that keeps us together. She's Michelle Gordon. Michelle is really our executive assistant and of course sales administrator. Sometimes we're based on a property, based on an events, we're pulled left, right, and center. If it's not for Michelle Gordon, we term her MG, the acronym MG, we would be all over the place. So MG's responsibility is to keep us together, keep us focused, and also keep us well fed. Thank you. ASEAN, many of you heard from ASEAN, know ASEAN PR, marketing, sponsorship. What else? And he takes the beautiful pictures. So with your permission tonight, ladies and gentlemen, ASEAN will, of course, on social media. I'm still catching up with technology. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, InstaChat. I got that right? Just joking. Just joking. So again, that's a team that is here tonight. And they're out, and they're here, well represented. So, of course, Dr. Guntley, my second mother. Wave your hands for me, please. Thank you. John Woolcock, he heads up the events department for Jamaica Tourist Board. And of course, the Convention Center. We're now a part of the Ministry of Tourism. We're an agency under the Ministry of Tourism. John, very vital to our organization, very vital in terms of the partnership and to allow Jamaica to be recognized again, not only as leisure, but as meetings and conventions. Because really, the large groups that the Convention Center will and the future possibilities to bring into Jamaica, of course, will create that economic impact that we're pushing for Jamaica to recognize. Not only about profitability, but looking at economic impact, whether it be indirect or direct, to see how that trickles down for the entire geographic location to benefit. So again, that's a mandate and purpose of the Convention Center in partnership with our main sister agency, the Jamaica Tourist Board. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Spanish Court Hotel, Worthington, for the Cocktails in Kingston. Why is it important for the Montego Bay Convention Center to have this event tonight?
It's very important to us because a few things that we have highlighted and wanted to bring forefront is that we recognize and appreciate our partners in Kingston, our clients in Kingston, our potential clients in Kingston. Of course, we do have these events just to mingle, just to share our thoughts process, not in terms of business, but just to get everyone inside a room. And of course, we just talk in a informal or formal environment, and we just get together. So that's really the purpose of our vendors, our partners, our agencies, from the ministries to our suppliers. We just get everyone in and show our appreciation.
You mentioned the Jamaica Tourist Board as one of your major partners. How has that relationship been?
It is excellent, and it is a relationship that has been in the making since our inception. The tourist board is very important to us. Jamaica Tourist Board, of course, is what we consider as our DMO, or destination marketing organization, that assists the convention center in not only marketing the facility to any other destination that would willing to come offshore, especially the international destinations, but what they do as well is to market Jamaica and assist us in not only marketing as Sun and Sierra Leisure, but to ensure that Jamaica is seen as a meetings and events destination that can host large group in a first world facility.
And speaking of that first world facility, tell us a little bit about the Montego Bay Convention Center and what people can expect from the venue.
Montego Bay Convention Center, managed by SMG, a North American-based company that manages 85% of the public facilities in the world. Of course, first world, now we have a mandate to ensure that that first world facilities is represented here in Jamaica. And of course, Montego Bay Convention Center opened its door in 2011 to the events industry. And what we really do is to host events. I mean, regardless from your weddings to your largest expos, to your exhibition, to your conventions, to your sporting events, to your church events. So we're an all-inclusive package. We're a flexible facility. And what we do is to host any and every event. So that's basically what we do. And what to expect is our people. We have a set of well-trained staff, and events is our core business. And what we did in the initial stage is to ensure that our team members, they're fully aware of all aspects of event management, certified and also recognized internationally. So what you will expect from the Montego Bay Convention Center is the highest level of technology, the best aesthetics, theme, and the best management you can think of bringing your event from a thought process to reality. So that's what we're all about.
And finally, now that you're here in Kingston for this event, what kind of connections are you hoping to make at Cocktails in Kingston tonight?
Yes, we do have quite a few corporate partners in Kingston, but what we want to do is to bring Kingston to Montego Bay. Get Kingston to come to Montego Bay, see what the convention center is all about. So for potential clients that we do have, it's just to mingle, to invite them, just to, a short presentation, show what we're about, and then of course to invite those potential clients down, and of course get them to know the convention center, come in, explore the property, do inspections, see the technology, see the staff, meet the people, meet the strength behind the asset, and then of course we go from there. So in a sense, it's really to have Kingston in Montego Bay, and of course to expand our business, which that's the whole intention.
The Montego Bay Convention Center opened its doors about 8 years ago. What have we seen from the convention center over the years?
Well, the convention center since 2011 to now 2019, we've done a little bit over 700 events. We've done a lot of weddings, we've done graduations, we've done car shows, we've done meetings, conventions. We're home to most of the major churches in Jamaica where they do their annual conventions with us. So we're home to the Jamaica Baptist, the United Open Bible, the Jehovah's Witnesses, you name it, we're home to them.
And as was mentioned, the Jamaica Tourist Board is a major partner with the Montego Bay Convention Center. How has that experience, or how has that relationship been over the years?
Very positive. Having the convention center in Montego Bay means that we have the ability to go after larger groups that will support the hotels in the area. And without the convention center, this was a void. So of course having a state-of-the-art facility in Montego Bay opens up a lot of opportunities for us. And we're seeing where MICE planners are really taking a very close look at the destination, whereas in the past they might have said, you know what, this group is a little bit too large for Jamaica or for Montego Bay. Now it's on the table. Now Jamaica is even more viable.
And can you comment on the impact it has had on the tourism industry over the years?
The Montego Bay Convention Center, as Karen Benjamin, our interim general manager, mentioned earlier, that our core function is basically to support the community. So our aim is to bring in, as John just mentioned, the larger groups to Jamaica, so it will impact the hotels. So we basically get heads in beds. You'll have the coconut man on the roadside being able to sell more jelly coconuts, the cane man, the nightlife, so the Margaritaville's, the Pier 1s, you name it, so it's like a domino effect. So all partners involved will be able to get a piece of the pie.
And it's only been here since 2011, so can you comment on what impacts has been made to tourism before and now?
Well, again, as Mavoy just mentioned, it's all positive in the sense that we're getting more business, increased business, more visitor arrivals coming in. Conventions that would not have considered Jamaica, now they're looking at the destination, they're actually booking the destination. So again, it's very positive. We have become even more competitive in the marketplace.
How do you see the center being utilized in new ways to pull more visitors?
We are trying to focus more heavily on the sporting events. So as it is now, we host the NCAA, that's a basketball competition, every November, and this competition is aired live on CBS. So not only Jamaicans get an opportunity to see what can happen at the convention center, but persons internationally will be able to see what we're doing, and they may think to say, okay, so I can bring a sporting event to Jamaica. So it's not just meetings and conventions, we're pretty much multifunctional, which is why in our different spaces at the convention center, there's nothing fixed. So whatever the event is, we can accommodate it. If it's a car show, we can do it. If it's basketball, we can do it. If it's taekwondo, we can do it. So you name it, we can do it.
And anything new from the tourist board that you can mention?
The Jamaica Tourist Board is always looking at new opportunities. We have a very strong team in the market, so we are pursuing a lot of new ventures. So it's going to be great for Jamaica moving forward. We're seeing it in our visitor arrivals. It continues to grow. And again, it's going from strength to strength. But we have a gem in MBCC, no question about it. And all of our partners, from the hotels, the DMCs, the attractions, it's all very good.
Your company has hosted several events at the Montego Bay Convention Center. Talk to us about the experience working with them.
It's an amazing experience working with the team there. One of the wonderful things about the convention center and the team is that level of engagement. They take on your project as if it's their own, and they're really involved from start to finish. And it's something that you really appreciate as a project manager and an event manager, because you want to be assured that all of the details of your event are taken care of. Usually you're planning an event from Kingston at the Montego Bay Convention Center, so having that level of oversight, that level of attention to detail is really very important to us. So it's something that we really appreciate. After a while they become your friends. It's really an amazing team there. So I'd recommend anyone to go to the convention center. And it's not just about the team, it's about the facilities, it's about the facilitation, it's about the accommodation of each and every request. So I can't say enough good things about them there. Mm-hmm.
And how important would you say a venue like this is for Jamaica?
Oh, absolutely, very important. I mean, Jamaica, as the general manager just said, Jamaica is more than just sea and sand. And it's very important that you have a facility that can accommodate local, nationally scaled, as well as regional and international events right here on our shores. It's an opportunity for various industries to be showcased, for us to stage events that have multi-tiered opportunities for varied groups. So for the hotel sector, the broader tourism sector, for other persons here in Jamaica, it really makes sense for you to have a facility like this in Jamaica. And I can only wish that they go from strength to strength in terms of the range of services that they offer that will ensure that we entice as many people here as possible to utilize the services and the facilities that are here.
Hi, I'm Peter Shakir from Event and Entertainment Services. We're an event management and planning company, and we do many events across the island and abroad as well. We also own Jamaica Bridal Expo, and this is my partner, Joanne Paxton, and she'll talk to you a little bit about hosting Jamaica Bridal Expo at the Montego Bay Convention Center.
We've hosted the Jamaica Bridal Expo at the Montego Bay Convention Center for the past 6 years, and Jamaica Bridal Expo is at home at the convention center. Everything is positive about the venue, the grand ballroom, what you have the expo in, the conference room where we hold a conference on the first day of activities for the expo, and the staff at the Montego Bay Convention Center is absolutely amazing.
Thank you for tuning into our coverage of Cocktails in Kingston, hosted by the Montego Bay Convention Center. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Wealth Magazine is back at it again with Corporate Mingle. Today we're here at the Reggae Mill Bar, where executives, creatives, entrepreneurs are here to mix and mingle. I'm your host, Amita Pasadre. Please stay tuned for highlights.
Thank you to the team from Wealth, and thank you for you being here. We're here to introduce you to the newest way to deal with Western Union. This is the way of the future. This is how you will be handling your Western Union business going forward. It's called westernunion.com.
Grace Kennedy Money Services is in partnership with CME today here at Corporate Mingle. Talk to me about that.
So, Grace Kennedy Money Services is the home of Western Union, Bill Express, FX Trader. Today we're here with CME because we have an exciting new product to push, and this is the ideal target audience or corporates. Because you know what? Corporate people, they're always on the go, they're always moving, they don't have time sometimes to just get to a Western Union location to do their business. So we have a platform where they can stay wherever they are as long as they have an internet connection and they can send a money transfer. That's why we're here, we're pushing that. So woo.com is the name of the website, and it allows you to send a money transfer to anywhere in Jamaica or to 200 countries across the world. Wherever a Western Union location is, you can send a money transfer. You need to send some money, you need to send it fast. Register, go on woo.com, send it. All you have, the only money you spent is that money that you're trying to send. That's it. No credit card fees, no processing fees, no transfer fees, nothing. Zero. And you have to be registered. It's a registered service. Part of registration that you have to do, you start online. But you have to satisfy our own Jamaican regulations, Bank of Jamaica regulations, you have to go into a location with your ID that you registered with to validate. And that's it. All we need to do is to be able to see your ID, see you, and know that you are who this ID is. That's it. Once you've been validated, you never have to go back into a location to receive money ever again.
It's Corporate Mingle Networking with a purpose. We're here today at the Reggae Mill Bar. Talk to us about what's happening.
All right, so this is our fourth staging of the Corporate Mingle, and this is the first time actually coming to this location. We have a mixed crowd because we have Bumblebee as a sponsor. We have Grace Kennedy, Western Union, Business Access TV, and of course, Adam and Eve Day Spa. So we have a very mixed crowd. We have mature, younger persons here. It's always a new venue, so we can try something new so persons don't get used to the same venue and it's always here again. It's always a new place, preferably somewhere hip, as you see Reggae Mill is where all the festivities happening now for the young people. We have different networking games. We have our wonderful host, as usual, Amisa. So we're trying to keep it interactive, get persons involved, talking to each other, mingling, networking. Of course, drinks flowing, so people flowing, conversations flowing.
So talk to us a little bit in regards to what exactly it is that Bumblebee does.
So Bumblebee is a digital media agency, so we look at what we can consider traditional digital media, which is the Facebook and the Instagram and the Twitter and Google, of course, but we are also into programmatic, and definitely the leading product that we offer is Wi-Fi advertising, which is new to Jamaica. So we are partners with Gross Tech, and they are committed to making Wi-Fi like oxygen. So we are committed to helping brands build brand loyalty by helping to make Wi-Fi like oxygen, by partnering and sponsoring that Wi-Fi. So we're the leaders in that regard. We have amazing click-through rates, which is above every other digital platform that is currently here. So we are seeing click-through rates of between 10 and 30% and lead generations of over 30%, which is not heard of in the region. So this is really something big that brands can and should get into.
I've been here for a very long time. We've been building our product for the past 3 years, and I've been coming here, building networks, building my social network. So this is not my first time I've been here.
Tell me about your business, Intranet Solutions.
Intranet Solutions, we offer social Wi-Fi to businesses. So instead of persons signing in with a passcode, they use their social media handles. So they use Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whichever handle is there at the time. Once persons sign in, companies get their demographic information because they would have approved and allowed for you to get that information. So it's a way to build on your marketing list and a way to improve your business overall.
Talk to me about O'Shane Bryant Fitness.
All right, so O'Shane Bryant Fitness, we don't have a fixed location. We're predominantly at UEMONA campus, but of course we're a fitness entity that's geared towards giving Jamaica the most affordable health and fitness lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, and not a fad thing.
Well, it's my second time coming to a mingle. I'm really enjoying it. Perfect place to mingle, to get your business out there and learn about your peers and what's going on.
It's that time where we bid you farewell. Thank you for tuning in to Business Access TV and our coverage of Corporate Mingle here at the Reggae Mill Bar. I've been your host, Amita Prasad-Webb, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business. Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Hi there. On the pages today, we delve inside the workings of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security for this fiscal year. We'll also share insights on foods, food labelling and calories. Yes, you're tuned in to Jamaica's #1 magazine program. Sit back and relax and keep watching today's show for these and more to come right after this message.
Don't let the heat beat you down. Extremely hot days can affect your health, causing heat stress and heat stroke. Protect yourself. Seek sheltering from the sun and limit outdoor activities to mornings and evenings. Wear light-colored, loose-fitting, breathable fabrics. Hydrate with cool water and avoid sweetened drinks and beverages that contain alcohol. Don't let the heat beat you down.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is in modernization mode, improving the use of technology and upgrading its infrastructures to improve service delivery. It's about promoting decent work and the protection and empowerment of the poor and vulnerable. Find out more in this next feature.
The Ministry is focused on safeguarding dignity in work and will demonstrate true respect for all through technology and innovation for customer service excellence, public education and people development, and infrastructure and accessibility.
As it taps into technology to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of service delivery, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security will continue to digitize records across all its divisions.
Valuable real estate is taken up with the storage of paper records, and to date we have scanned over 500,000 records. Accessibility to documents is now made easier and the processing of benefits more timely.
In that same vein, persons will be able to apply for all NIS benefits online by year-end.
We have just completed an upgrade of our network to fiber optic. This may seem a simple matter, but a lot of the technological improvements could not be done on the old network. With this upgrade, the Ministry is in the process of procuring a voice-over internet protocol. The VoIP will enable us to improve our internal and external communications and reduce our phone bill by up to 50% or over $26 million.
The Ministry will also be working towards establishing a call center where all customer calls to its offices will be routed for prompt response. The recently launched Labour Market Information System app and enhanced website now provide job seekers and employers with a more robust experience when job hunting or posting vacancies. The Ministry is also rolling out an app for the 2020 season of the Overseas Farm Work Programme to improve communication with beneficiaries.
This app will allow our Canadian farm workers to access information related to their medical dates, visa appointments, and flight information. They will not have to wait on the Ministry's call, but will be able to access information on their smartphones and other electronic devices.
The number of public access points to its electronic labour exchange ELE are also being increased. Kiosks are being installed in parish offices to use the service. Public education activities are being intensified in the months ahead as the Ministry embarks on a 25 community engagement series. Work continues to secure the integrity of the job-seeking process through the efforts of the Ministry's Employment Agency Unit.
The unit continues to issue the mandatory license to private employment agency operators to conduct. We also continue to conduct inspections to ensure compliance with the Employment Agencies Regulation Act.
Public education also continues utilizing print and electronic media to protect job seekers from scamming. A digital marketing campaign is to be launched by the end of the calendar year, and the Ministry is ramping up sessions to reach more than 1,400 job seekers with special focus on PATH beneficiaries and unattached youth. In June 2019, PATH benefits saw an average increase of 17%. In addition, over $500 million will be spent providing back-to-school grants, which will be paid electronically. Families on PATH will also get support through the Steps to Work program for entrepreneurial activities.
For this financial year, Steps to Work will target 800 PATH households to benefit from upskilling initiatives and another 600 for on-the-job training. Additionally, under this program, a further 1,100 PATH clients will receive financial support to establish micro businesses.
A further 500 PATH families will be targeted, particularly parents of children aged 2 to 6 years, in sessions on nutrition, child discipline, budgeting, and parenting.
The implementation process to facilitate the Disabilities Act is in full gear. It is our intention to have the first 2 codes of practice and regulations completed by the end of the year. However, as a precursor, we must create the most stable and affirming environment in which to operationalize the Act.
A governance and organizational structure is being finalized to modernize and improve efficiency at the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, the JCPD. Meanwhile, a $17 million pool of grant funding is being set up to help with small business ventures or to acquire assistive devices that will enhance people's independence.
So for persons to access the benefit, they must register with the JCPD. Registration and grant application forms are available through our parish offices or the head office of the JCPD.
An updated actuarial review of the National Insurance Scheme NIS is set to take place during this financial year to ensure the viability of the National Insurance Fund, the NIF.
The NIF's primary focus is to maximize returns within acceptable risks, while maintaining a level of liquidity to enable timely payment of NIS benefits.
While it works to improve service delivery to Jamaicans, the Labour and Social Security Ministry is also upgrading the spaces from which those services are dispatched. The work includes a new office in St. Anne, as well as renovation to the Overseas Employment Centre in Kingston, NIS office at 18 Ripon Road, and the Ministry's Labour Division on North Street. An arm of the Industrial Disputes Tribunal is also being established in St. James.
We are in the process of procuring 3 buses that will be used as mobile offices to aid in the delivery of and greater access to the services of the ministry. The services include the registration of NIS beneficiaries, PATH, senior citizens, and persons with disabilities.
These are just some of the ministry's strategic priorities going forward, in line with the government's goal for inclusive and sustainable economic growth and job creation.
Did you know? The consequence of not exercising, consuming excessive sugars, trans fat, sodium and alcohol, and smoking is that sooner or later you will become seriously ill? These are known causes of non-communicable diseases, known to damage critical organs in the body, rendering them dysfunctional, leading to premature death. Avoid the unhealthy habits, treat your body right, eat well, exercise, and live longer, more productive lives.
Knowing the calorie value of foods and being able to manage your calorie intake based on your daily requirement can help you on the road to proper health and wellness. This next feature should take you a step closer to being in the know. Let's start the journey.
Your body needs energy, and we call this our daily requirements of calories. And for Jamaican men, it's about 2,100. For Jamaican women, it's about 1,900 calories per day. The calorie is just a unit of energy to say how much energy you need to get around your daily activities and so on. If you're more active and you're not in a desk job, then you're going to burn more calories. If you go to work, when you get up in the morning, you sit in a car and you go to work, you sit at a desk all day, and then lunchtime come, you order and they deliver the food to you, and then you eat that and you go back and sit again, and then you sit in a bus or a car and you go home. So you're sitting all day, you're not doing much, versus somebody who's on the road and they're walking around or they're standing all day like the teachers and nurses and so on. Then you'll realize the difference in how much energy you will need. And so if you are more active, you should be eating a little bit more. But the problem is that everybody is eating as if they're working in sugarcane fields, chopping cane all day. And this is the problem. So we consume more calories than we are burning off. And every day if we keep on consuming calories, you need 3,500 calories to make 1 pound of fat. One soda, if you look on the serving size for these things, these juices and so on, you'll think that, oh, it's just 110 calories. But how many servings come in that container? About 3 or 2.5. So you can easily drink 300 calories like that. And if you do that 5 times for the day, that's 1,500 calories. You almost don't need to eat anything else for the rest of the day. So the excess calories come in the body, and then the body begins to store them as fat. And then you put on more weight and more weight. You have to watch the pastries and the breads and all of these things that people, even when they're vegetarian, they still have a lot of these little snacks and so on. These things are full of calories. You know that one of the cream crackers is about 450 calories. Water crackers is about 500. Yeah, nobody don't want to hear. I never want to believe it either. But this is what you get, the packs that you get, and a lot of people eat them with butter, right? So can you imagine how many calories you're putting in your body with one little snack? And you don't talk about the tea yet, with the milk, the condensed milk and the sugar that you have to have that with. All of these things, they add up without you even knowing.
The ingredients label will go from the most to the least in a product. So if the product is making a claim, look at where that claim is. If it is 1, 2, or 3, because if it falls less than that, you're really not getting value for your money, right, in terms of content. The nutrition facts. One of the first things you're going to look at is the servings per container, and this says 2.5, which means it's 2.5 servings in the container. You are not supposed to drink it, you must share it, right? And then you're going to look at your calories. It says 90 calories, but it's 90 calories per serving, and it's 2.5 servings. So it's 2.5 times 90, which comes out to about 225. And then you come down and you look at your sugar, and it's 22 grams of sugar, but it's per serving. So the entire container is 2.5 times 22, which works out about 55, 56 if my maths is right. And there's 4 grams equal 1 teaspoon, so you end up with about roughly 14 teaspoons of sugar. And that is, you use this template for all the products that have nutritional facts on them. This is 14 teaspoons of sugar, and the American Heart Association recommends that for an adult male, you're supposed to consume 9 teaspoons of added sugar per day. For an adult female, it is 6 teaspoons of added sugar per day. And for a child, it's less than 6 teaspoons per day. And a child here, we're talking about from 2 to 18 years old. Don't look at a container and judge it by the size alone. It's very important to read the label so you know exactly. And look at it, 220 calories. For parents, we're asking them, to be very mindful of how much sugar they're giving their kids, right? Because it impacts upon their health in the long term.
We try to provide information to parents and guardians, teachers, anyone about the alternatives to these sugary drinks, because really you don't need them in your diet. You can get enough sugar that you need from the foods that you eat, the carbohydrates, which are converted to sugars in your body, which give you energy. So some of the alternatives are, of course, water. It's the best one, but there's also fresh fruit juices. So blending your own juices without adding sugar, and you'll have the natural sugars and fiber from the fruits. There's coconut water. It should be, you should actually drink this in moderation because it does have quite a high sugar content, but it is a good alternative. For the children, freezing the juices into popsicles or ice cubes so that it's more interesting for them to drink, as well as doing infused water. So infused water is it's a process where you cut up your favorite fruit or vegetable or even mint leaves or aloe. You place it in water overnight so that the vitamins, the minerals, all the goodness from the fruits and vegetables are infused into the water, and you can have that It's not sugar sweetened, and it gives you the vitamins and minerals that you need throughout the day. And then for children, there's unsweetened milk. So not flavored milks like the chocolate milks, but unsweetened milk doesn't have a high sugar content, and it also will give the children the calcium that they need for their growing bodies as well.
Stop smoking around me! Without cigarettes, the world will be much better. Smoking is bad for your health, and when grown-ups smoke around us, we are breathing in their smoke too.
Cigarette smoking is bad for your health and the health of those around you. Don't smoke around children. A message from the Pan American Health Organization.
Eating healthy by having a balanced diet consisting of items from all the food groups and consuming the right portions is important to get the nutrients vital for disease prevention, growth, and good health. Essential nutrients are building blocks for the cells that make up the body, from bone to muscle, skin, and hair. One of the most critical ones is protein, which is made up of different amino acids, some of which the body can make on its own. We need a variety of proteins to function properly, many of which can only come from the foods we eat. Meats, fish, and eggs are essential sources from animals, while plant sources include beans, nuts, and some grains. How much protein you need daily depends on a variety of factors, including how active you are and your age. Carbohydrates are the main nutrients for fueling the body's energy needs, especially our central nervous system and brain. They help protect against diseases, but some carbohydrates are healthier than others. Some healthy sources include your fresh produce, such as yam, banana, breadfruit, and tubers, as well as whole grains, fiber-rich vegetables, and fruits. Less healthy sources include refined grains and products with added sugar. Fats often get a bad rap, but it's important to know that healthy fats are essential to our body's function. Fats aid in vitamin and mineral absorption, blood clotting, building cells, and muscle movement. Fats are high in calories, which is a measure of energy from foods, but the World Health Organization recommends keeping daily calorie intake from fat at under 30%. Including healthy fats, which are the unsaturated fats in your diet, can help balance blood sugar, decrease the risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes, and improve brain function. Healthy fats are also powerful anti-inflammatories and can lower the risk for arthritis, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. Some of the well-known unsaturated fats are the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Sources of these healthy fats include fish, seeds, nuts, and vegetable oils, olive, avocado, and flax seeds. Trans fats are to be avoided, and we should also limit our intake of saturated fats, of which the main sources are animal-based and include butter, cheese, red meat, and ice cream. Vitamins are organic compounds essential for normal growth and are required in small quantities. There are 13 essential vitamins that the body needs, and these help lower the risk of diseases such as lung and prostate cancer. Vitamin A supports healthy vision, skin, and bones. Powerful antioxidants like vitamin C boost the immune system and helps the body heal. Eating a varied and well-balanced diet of fruits and vegetables should supply the body with the required vitamins. Minerals are also important nutrients needed for building strong bones and teeth. They help with regulating our body's metabolism and keeping us properly hydrated. The mineral calcium strengthens bones and teeth and helps with nerve signal transmission. It also helps to maintain healthy blood pressure and with muscle contraction and relaxation. Iron supports red blood cells and hormone creation, while the mineral zinc boosts the immune system and wound healing. The body also needs water, which improves brain function and mood, and acts as a shock absorber and lubricant in the body. Water also flushes our toxins, carries nutrients to cells, hydrates the body, and prevents constipation. Even mild dehydration can make us feel tired and impair concentration and physical performance. In addition to drinking water, we can hydrate ourselves by eating fruits and vegetables such as spinach and watermelon. Start treating your body right. As you grab your next meal, make sure you're getting all the nutrients needed in their right proportion.
We shift gears now as the leftover good vibes from the independence celebrations have us in a dancing mood. And it got me thinking. Jamaican dance forms have evolved over the years to create a rich and vibrant heritage that transcends generations and remains the pride and joy of our people. Let's dance.
Similar to the country's motto, "Out of many, one people," Jamaica's indigenous dance movement is a rich mix of African, European, Spanish, and several other ethnic influences. A shoulder movement from the British, hip roll from the Africans, and so on. All gyrations and synchronized rhythmic stepping, locals have merged to birth new dance styles.
Indigenous means that it was created here. It's native to the space. I call some things indigenous formalized. They're indigenous, and all these indigenous things, like, for example, gere. They say it's a creolized form. Now, when you say creolized form, that means some of it was shaped here, so then it becomes indigenous. So there are quite a few others.
Brookings reveals a unique mixture of African and European influences. The Brookings Party is a stately, dipping, gliding dance typified by the thrust and recovery action of the hip and leg.
So, for example, Brookings, you cannot go back to Africa and find Brookings. Remember, Brookings was a celebration for the abolition of slavery in this country called Jamaica. And there's a long story behind that.
So that position happens in Brookings. All right, get up. But she not do it all the way. When them do it, it's all down on the ground and the back and back.
This band of masqueraders scare a few, especially children. Some persons are definitely not in favor of one of the characters, the devil. John Kunu goes as far back as slavery, but at that time, the bands were very large and elaborate. The musicians would play tunes of well-known traditional songs on the fife, accompanied by bass and rattling drums, shakas, and graters. Their primary dance movement is to prance, behaving wildly as they try to evoke fun or mockery.
The foundation sound. Ska music is a great, great sound. Jamaica's first international.
What you see down across is arms that come out of John Kunu, come out of our ancient forms as well. And so you see those arms in Ska, those same arms. What it come from? It have to come anywhere from sky. It come from our ancestral memories, our heritage, and it bleed beautifully into modern day times, into what we call popular dance.
Dancehall in the 1960s A popular dance then was the ska. Oh yes, skanking was the movement partygoers would do to the rhythm of the similar name, ska punk or hardcore punk.
Jamaica's first international.
When people say the dance in Bingi, also indigenous. Any movement that you see people do in Rastafari, because Rastafari, and it's not only dance.
That's right. Rastafarianism is a religion and it has its own dance.
Although African Kumina has been here for so long, it is a tradition in the space. Kumina was not created here. It is Kikongo. In the language they speak, free Africans and enslaved Africans, the more they came, brought that tradition, that religious tradition, to the space. But over time, because that is from 18-something, you know, it becomes traditional to the space because it's constantly here. Dance hall is indigenous. Everything in dance hall is indigenous. And so everybody should be saying, anybody who dance hall should mention Jamaica. Because Jamaica is who created that cultural space that has in it dance. Dance hall goes right back to Africa. And if you go online now and you look at Africans doing dance hall, there's a slightly different flavor to it. But there's a use of bottom, there's a use of, the use is similar. So some things, you know, are what Kamau Brathwaite, the writer from Barbados, says tide electric. In that the tides of the ocean bring it come, and sometimes the tides of the ocean carry it back. So if you look at dancehall, you know, the ocean bring all of this African, and then sometimes you see it carry back, and dancehall is in Africa now as African dancehall. In dance, it's a forward movement when we decide to be Caribbean-centric. So now we're not necessarily Afrocentric or Eurocentric. We have now created a space of our voice. We are Caribbean-centric in the movements that we create. From the time of ska that you mentioned, all the way up now to dancehall.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
We've come to the close of Jamaica Magazine for today. We hope you found our program enlightening and ask that you join us again tomorrow for more. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, jis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious
about business.
Serious about business.
much do you know about the LPO industry? Well, today you are in luck. We are here at the Norman Manley Law School for JAMPRO's Legal Process Outsourcing Forum. I'm your host, Amita Prasadweb. Please stay tuned.
So this forum is designed to define and explain legal process outsourcing. What are the risks? What are the challenges? We're aware that India is often given as the model for legal process outsourcing. And some of the similarities with our jurisdiction is that we have a common law system. We have lawyers who are trained proficiently in English. We have a tradition of an independent judiciary. I think it's on display right now. We also have, and I'm sure former graduate would agree with me, freedom of the press. And therefore, we have all the groundwork for being very similar to being very successful with LPO. But there are challenges, and we need to know them. And so I'm sure that this forum today is going to identify those for you. We hope that it will be a market that in 10 years from now, Jamaica will be a major player, but that we've managed all the risks and we're not doing it at a low level, but we are actually ensuring that we're engaging in high-level skills.
Legal process outsourcing is simply the activity of retaining non-traditional service providers in the legal space to do certain kinds of legal work for companies and law firms in developed countries.
So I don't need to be a lawyer?
It depends on the work that you're doing. So, legal process outsourcing can involve work that doesn't necessarily require a lawyer, but generally speaking, lawyers are the ones delivering these services.
Some countries have moved first on the opportunity to capitalize on some of this work now flowing out of places like North America and the UK. And those countries have certain things in common. They have a large number of English-speaking legal professionals. They have good IT infrastructure or ICT infrastructure. And they can deliver legal work, certain kinds of legal work, or in fact, a lot of the legal work we do for lower rates and at least comparable quality. The legal industry latched on to this LPO idea, and that's reflected in the value of the LPO industry. So in 2016, estimates vary, but reasonable estimates have the LPO industry in 2016 at $4 billion US. By 2024, estimates have the industry at 40 billion, around 40 billion US dollars. That's not just significant money, but it's even more significant growth over a very short time. Now, when I see these numbers, I think, how do we and how does Jamaica participate in this growth in a meaningful way? How do we get a sliver of that $40 billion that's up ahead? We don't need the entire 40, and in fact, we can't have the entire 40 billion. We need a sliver of that 40 billion. This is substantial business, and Jamaica is in a good position to participate in that in some way. We need to determine what that way is and how we do that. Currently, there are 6 key areas that are outsourced from North America and the UK. There's contract drafting, which involves playing a role in the process of how contracting is done by lawyers for their clients. So often you find, the contract, a draft is sent, it's negotiated, it's signed, but then everybody sets that down and it's forgotten. Nobody tracks the risks, nobody tracks the life cycle of that contract, whether they're staying inside the provisions or not, and that's become a key area for LPOs. LPO providers have gone to companies and said, well, let's take that off your hands. That's relatively low value but high risk work. And they handle, some LPOs handle end-to-end. They handle the negotiation of the contracts and management of the life cycle of the contract. Some will manage the life cycle of the contract after it's been negotiated by the company and their lawyers. There's compliance assistance, which is becoming more important these days. And that involves, for example, with the relatively new anti-money laundering regulations in these countries, there are new requirements on companies to be able to satisfy these compliance obligations. And again, high risk, but to the overall company, low value. And this, again, is one of the areas where LPOs are doing well at going to the companies and offering well-trained lawyers to take care of this piece of what the company has to do. E-discovery, which is where I started as it relates to LPO activities, is the biggest piece of the LPO market currently, and is one of the areas set to, as you will see later once we get to that section of the presentation, set to experience the biggest piece of the growth going forward. And e-discovery, for those who don't know, involves the disclosure and production of documents in litigation or in some regulatory context, like securities. And that's the whole process of collecting those documents, getting them into a format that lawyers can review, having lawyers review them, determining what is to be disclosed and what is to be produced, and then producing those documents to a regulator or to the other side of a litigation. In a nutshell, that's what that is. Again, high risk, but to the company overall, low value, but also high cost if you continue to do this in North America or the UK. Some LPOs are in the business of what they call managed review. So irrespective of what the review is, whether it's in the litigation context or regulatory context or otherwise, you have tons of documents to review. They will provide you with the project managers, the technology, and the processes by which you can accomplish what you need to accomplish with this review of documents. Patent support is another area where significant growth is expected over the next few years. And this goes anywhere from managing patent portfolios to the actual filing of patents, which has increased relatively significantly in North America in the last couple of years. Litigation support is really a sub piece of e-discovery. And that's some of the more technical, technology-driven pieces of the process where, the documents, for example, you go into a company, you collect their documents from their IT infrastructure. It would be really inefficient for a lawyer reviewing those documents to be opening each document, to be requiring the native application to open each of these documents. So PowerPoint, you have to open in PowerPoint and review. Then you have to open Word in Word. Litigation support offers the ability to convert those documents relatively quickly into a seamless format where a lawyer can review document by document and provide his or her input on those documents in a seamless way. But that's really a piece of the e-discovery process. So the US and Canada are generally outsourcers, but are also outsourcing locations because there are firms in the US and Canada where companies will outsource their work, their alternative legal services providers operating in those countries as onshore outsourcers. The UK in Europe is a big outsourcer, and again also has some onshore outsourcing happening. In Asia Pacific, India is the big one. Australia is coming on stream. China for very particular functions in the space. Brazil and Mexico, not quite there. And but South Africa is one of the leading jurisdictions for LPO services. You have a company like Exigent, for example, that operates out of South Africa. And we'll talk about this again later, but all these outsourcers, one of the key success factors for them is having boots on the ground in the countries from which the work is being outsourced. I operate in the Canadian market, so I thought I'd use Canada as an example to show you the kind of growth that's expected for the LPO industry in each of these areas that we just talked about. And you'll see that e-discovery, patent support, and litigation support are by far the largest benefactors of the growth we'll see going forward. This information is there to plant the seed in your mind as to if you're thinking about getting into this space, where do you focus your energy? It makes sense to focus your energy on the areas where big growth is expected.
How much do you believe in the viability of the LPO sector here, and why?
I think it's a quite viable sector in Jamaica for a number of reasons. So first is Jamaica has a big supply of well-trained English-speaking lawyers who are able to deliver quality service for lower fees than companies or law firms can get in certain jurisdictions. Jamaica is also strategically located in the world. So we're right in the backyard of North America, for example, where we can almost seamlessly become a part of a legal team in that country, being on the same time zone, for example. We're close enough to the UK and have strong enough ties with the UK to be able to be an extension of a UK team as well. We have a common law legal infrastructure in Jamaica. There are legislation and laws in Jamaica that are modeled off laws from some of these countries as well. So it's not an unfamiliar place to do that kind of work or that kind of business.
A few of the challenges that were mentioned earlier in regards to location, time zone, scalability, and then privacy. Can you speak to some of that?
I'll take scalability first because I think that's one of the bigger limiting factors for Jamaica. If you compare Jamaica to India, for example, which is one of the main outsourcing locations in the world, the population is massive in India, and the number of well-trained lawyers you might get in India is a lot larger than it is in Jamaica. And Jamaica is restricted by the fact that we're not really that many people when you compare us to other places in the world. But what's interesting to note, though, is the impact that technology is having on some of the services that are outsourced is actually, I think, is a positive for Jamaica. Because with the technology now, you need less people to be delivering these services. And so I think that puts Jamaica in even a stronger position going forward. The LPO industry is rapidly growing. I mean, estimates vary, but we're looking at growth between 2016 or 2017 from $4 billion US to $40 billion US. That's a massive compounded annual growth rate for that industry. And I think that shows us the kind of promise that's in that space for countries like Jamaica that's already doing very well in the general business process outsourcing space. It excites me particularly because it's a means by which Jamaica can add some sophistication to what we're able to deliver in terms of labor, in terms of work, and being able to insert Jamaicans into the international, the global value chain in the way that we can insert Jamaican lawyers in the value chain, I think is an exciting thing for Jamaica.
Speak to us about the LPO forum today at the Norman Manley Law School.
All right, so we decided to have this LPO forum because one of the things we're trying to do is start the LPO industry because it's one of the industries that's growing rapidly worldwide. And I believe there's a tremendous opportunity for Jamaica to carve out a niche in this space. As you know, we have already been successful in the business process outsourcing industry. In a number of industries, we are doing it in healthcare, we're doing it in tech support, we're doing it in finance and accounting, we're doing it in HR. So we've been very successful in that industry. And a lot of the characteristics that drive success in that industry are the same characteristics that can allow us to be successful in the LPO industry.
What would you say are some major challenges for a few of your attendees here today?
To wrap their mind around the changing construct of the way work is done and the changing characteristics of the legal profession. If you think about it, because of globalization, a lot of professions are being disrupted. You'll talk to architects who'll tell you people are now downloading drawings from the internet and just customizing it for the country. If you look at the whole BPO industry, work is sliced up, and you have people being hired with no degrees, for example, and they are trained to be specialists in a particular area. So in Jamaica, for example, we have people with 5 CSEC subjects who are doing level 3 tech support in a telecoms environment. Why? Because you can train them and create expertise and excellence, service excellence in people in specific slices. So if you take the area of legal process outsourcing, similarly, there are areas that, whether it be intellectual property, patent registration, contract review. These are areas that you can have highly specialized skills doing work, here in Jamaica. So, I think what we have to wrap our heads around is we need to find the next entrepreneur in this space who will understand the opportunity, put in the hard work to develop it, because it's going to happen, and it's going to happen one of two ways. It's going to happen where either as Jamaicans we take advantage and create the businesses that are serving the world in the legal space, or other companies are going to discover this gem called Jamaica with the number of legal professionals and talent here and set up facilities, and we'll just be working in those facilities.
We're talking BPOs, LPOs now. What's next for JamPro and doing business in Jamaica?
Right. So, we're on a mission. So obviously the BPO industry is, and let me say outsourcing industry, because it's very broad. We're looking to grow that industry significantly. We expect, right now we're at about 32,000 people. We expect to get to about 50,000 in the next 2 years. And we're always looking to enhance the portfolio mix of work that's being done in the country. So like anything else, you're trying to increase the complexity of work being done, because the more complex the work, the higher the pay, right? So we really have our eyes on two things in that space. So to grow the numbers and to enhance the mix of work being done, because similar, if you think of what happened in the US, right, with outsourcing of manufacturing jobs, the thinking was, we'll outsource these low-end jobs and do the higher value design work. But I think what they forgot in that equation is that not everybody can be a rocket scientist. Right. So you need jobs at all levels. So no different in all outsourcing space, you're going to have jobs at all levels. And what we're always looking to do is enhance the mix of those jobs.
And by now you would have understood what LPO means. But stay tuned for more. We're going to a break.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right?
So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Local law firms, I believe, can create capacity. It doesn't have to be an entire staffing agency. Local law firms can create capacity to train legal staff in the core skills needed in an outsourced project. It's not getting into the subject matter of the foreign law. And then the staffing agencies overseas who already have that capacity can simply identify a Jamaican law firm that has that potential and engage them directly. Or the overseas law firm can engage the person, the entity in Jamaica, directly. And then, this is the message now for the law students, is that you would associate yourself with a law firm or a staffing agency within a law firm, and you would receive information on upcoming legal outsourcing projects that you can apply for. So I would stay in my apartment while I'm studying for the bar. I say, okay, I'm sending off my resume to these 20 persons, and then they would now keep in touch with me to say, okay, as soon as you set the bar, you can work on your pending status, and these are the projects. So I could pick, choose, and refuse, generally by the dollar figure, and the interest, because I was thinking also about building my career. So I selected projects in intellectual property, antitrust, and global projects, because I knew I was heading back to Jamaica. But I wanted to have this opportunity to be inside some of the most serious litigation and cases that even when I was back in Jamaica, I would say, oh yes, now it's finally, now they're in court. This is something I worked on 2, 3, 4 years in advance at the discovery stage. So I think what really we'll be looking at would be an LPO litigation manager, somebody who has schooled themselves in those different software that I mentioned before, and sort of had some sort of association with a particular jurisdiction, and is comfortable, whether you have a JD or you are trained in the UK, or you have been trained by someone who has been exposed to the ins and outs of that system, which is just a little bit more technical in terms of the expanded way e-discovery or the civil procedure rules are used upfront. We kind of just move into the litigation a little bit more, and then we ask for the list of documents, and if something is needed, then you'd make a request for information, but it's done a little earlier in first world countries. Staffing agencies, we have a lot of law students who are graduating, and of course you have the benefit of, once you have your hard-earned certificate of legal education, you are ready to go. So you can now send your resume to this agency and be ready to take on projects. And paralegals also play a role in this. They don't need to have international certification, but what they need to be is familiar with those rules I spoke about, and it's generally relevance, privilege, that sort of a thing. I put there that the Jamaican Civil Procedure Rules, Part 28, is a great start for anyone, and also just to look online on YouTube to see how those e-discovery software would work. And lastly, as I wrap up, I know what's on everybody's mind, or the minds of many, is will it be worthwhile financially? I can tell you, in the US, it was worthwhile for me. And when I did a little research on how persons felt about the BPO sector, they were happy because it really has provided more jobs. But a lot of persons are concerned that will we be able to keep, as Jamaicans, a competitive rate? I believe there's a lot of space for the rate to be competitive, in that it helps to cut the 20% that Marlon spoke about, because legal services in the US is pretty expensive. I believe that both sectors can benefit, I believe you can offer a competitive rate and it still be attractive to a graduate from the law school, and even someone who is 3, 4, 5 years at the bar and beyond. So when I did document review, the persons sitting with me were persons who just had their baby and they didn't want to be in a full-fledged hardcore litigation practice where you'd really be coming home on the train 10 o'clock at night. They wanted a little bit more flexibility. So they're extremely qualified, but at a different place in their life. Some persons were looking to go into the banking sector as lawyers, and so they wanted to get on some kind of projects where they were seeing things go wrong in banking and how they could be fixed. They wanted that global perspective. And shortly after, a year or two, they would be off temporary projects, that's what it's called, temporary projects, and on to their full-time job. So there was no stigma attached to it, like, oh my gosh, you're doing temporary work, what's the problem? It was more a strategic part of your strategic plan after law school. And I would love for this opportunity to be here for our Jamaican law students who I know, many have spoken to me, and they're like, oh my God, I wish I'd started this 10 years ago because there's now so many lawyers. Will I be able to find a job? I believe this is a great opportunity for Jamaican law students to really be able to get a global perspective. Maybe you'll change your mind and do your master's somewhere else and get more foreign training or something like that. But it will give you, I believe it will energize the sector and give you a fresh perspective. So I hope I've been of assistance.
All right, so I must say this morning, I'm extremely happy. I'm very excited to be a part of change, a changing environment. An environment which will see the trajectory of the legal arena becoming completely different. And sometimes we resist change. We resist change because we think it is something that is difficult to do. We resist it because we have a lack of a belief system. We also resist change because we say to ourselves, I have been doing this thing this way, and I will continue to do it. And so I know that as attorneys, we tell ourselves we go to law school to get an education, and what we have got that education to do is to practice. And practice we will, but what we have in mind is a traditional way of doing business, a traditional way of doing the law. But I must say to you that change is something to be embraced. Barack Obama went on that agenda of change, and he became the president of the United States of America. So if you look within the context before I start, we need to address our minds to getting to a stage in our career that we want to embrace this change. Otherwise, whatever it is we are saying to you here today will be of no significance. Because whether we want to accept this or not, what really is this business of legal process outsourcing? We are using technology, we are using people, and we are using a process. So it's really a fusion of technology, people, and process. Gone are the days when a young lawyer left law school and you have to go and do some mundane stuff in a law firm. Gone are those days. Gone are the days when you get up in an office, even as a senior person, and you twiddle your thumbs because there's nothing to do or you do not have much business inside there. Gone are those days. I'm here to say to you that the legal process outsource industry has heralded a change, both for graduates and for senior lawyers, law firms. Law firms, I'm going to speak to you particularly at this point in time, because the fact that I was asked to speak based on the fact that I have set up a legal process outsourcing firm means, and where JAMPRO 2 is trying to head on this government, where they're trying to head is in fact for entities to establish legal process outsourcing centers apart from operating simply from your home, or you need to see it as a business in itself, in the same way that the BPO sector has really mushroomed, blossomed into a huge business. And I see that happening in Jamaica within a very short period of time. We're in a global space, and the reasons given for this business doing so well in India, in all of those other places, is simply because of the matter of globalization and people needing to get their work done elsewhere at a cheaper cost. The demand is also there because people are talking about efficiencies of scale. Where the LPO is concerned, people for some type of matters can give their matters to a firm overnight and have it in their hands the next morning, because There's no time limit. You know, we go to work at the law firm 8:30 in the morning and we finish at 5 or at 6 or at 7 if you're going overtime and all of that. This business has no time limit. Depending on the client you're working for, you may find that your operation is going 24/7. In Jamaica, we need to get there. We need to get there because if you look at our economy cannot be sustained on a system where services such as legal services are simply given within some long periods of time. Otherwise, entities are going to be missing the boat. The global market space is saying, we need it now. We need it yesterday, day before yesterday. And that is what the LPO service can do. With the development of the internet technology, what you find is a lot of things can happen at the same time. So in our law offices, we use regular windows and little things like that. When you get to the LPO, your cost is going to be defined by the amount of technology that you put in there. Because this technology is going to be helping you to do a number of the things in a very fast manner, quickly, so that you can get them out of there. You have increased automation of legal functions. Again, technology is going to help you to do that. And of course, you have information security. So with that improvement in information security, what you have is that whole business where people were concerned because of lack of confidentiality and all of that, that is now gone through the window. So demand for this service gets greater because there's now a greater level of confidence. New technological tools is causing that. You have accessibility, of course, to outside talent. You have round-the-clock availability, as I've said, and the ability to cut back other operations. That is what companies are looking for. I am asked to add to the question, is this LPO opportunity perfect? It is not perfect, because to say it is perfect would be like my saying to you, I never lie. At some point in our lives, what happens? Those little white lies come, right? So for us to now say that the LPO thing is perfect is akin to that. Because, of course, we have some obstacles. We have lack of awareness. We have information security concerns. We have research and document review dominating the effective work. We have outsourcing requiring updates such as technology, mindset, and culture. So all of those things are barriers in the Jamaican market space to this business of legal process outsourcing. But I'm here to tell you that this opportunity is really real. It is real because that the investment is worth it. If you have law firms and other LPO providers earning up to it is estimated they earn up to $40 billion. It seems to me that since we don't want to go along the broke side, what we need to do is to align ourselves with some of those entities so that what happens? A little of the $40 billion will come down to us. True or false? Right. So guess what? I have chosen to do what? I don't want to go on the broke side, so I have chosen to align myself with entities that are along the path of going towards that $40 billion that they are talking about. I'm not there, but I'm saying I have started, right? And when you're doing a race, Usain Bolt years ago when he was in Falmouth and from shared content Trelawney, what happened? Nobody even knew about him. He came to the stadium and he failed. Huh? But the first time he won a race, guess what? Everybody saw him, and now the whole world has seen him. I am very confident, I am very positive that the whole world will very shortly be seeing the Jamaican marketplace as an area within which to operate in the legal process outsource space. It is just a matter of time. And we as attorneys and practitioners and corporations, we have to get on that train. You are simply gonna have to train the persons to do it. Our culture does not operate in the way that an LPO service operates. And so the first thing you have to do to get on board is to train all the work that you get to do. People are coming from law school all over the world, even the same Norman Manley Law School, but they do things differently. What you want? Standardization of output. So you may get a bulk of work, volume of work, but the output must be standardized.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour. Bullseye for Eyes Summer Sale. Try your luck at the Bullseye and get up to 40% off your frames. Land on the Bullseye and your eyeglasses are completely free. This summer, July 15th to August 31st.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're tuned in to JamPro's Legal Process Outsourcing Forum in association with Norman Manley Law School. Please stay tuned for more highlights.
Centennial Legis Solutions was born out of a talk I had with Ms. Diane Edwards from JamPro. And in fact, I had been researching on it for over 4 years before then. And when she said to me last January that this is something that JamPro is looking into trying to promote, I immediately jumped into it by February because I said, Diane had been talking about this thing. I've been researching this thing all along, and guess what? I'm happy I've gone down the road because it's good to jump in the forefront and be a pioneer in this business. And so, I'm happy I've done it.
Speak to the growth of your business so far.
All right, when we started, we had a number of hiccups because we had company, connecting but not paying, simply because Jamaica was not known for LPO service. Still getting there. But then since then, what we have had is that we have had persons who now believe more in this business because of the push that JamPro has been giving it. And so I have on board local and international partners. I am so happy that JamPro and Norman Manley Law School had this seminar today, simply because no man is an island. No man stands alone. So what we have to do to get Jamaica to be known, just as what happened in the BPO sector, we simply have to get many, many players on board so that together we have strength in numbers and the world will be able to see us much better.
How can people with law degrees who are not necessarily attorneys be a part of the...
And hence we have people who have degrees in law would be important. So hence we have areas that practicing lawyers would be required to do and areas that non-practicing lawyers would be able to do. So it's not as technical as they say it. What is more important is the technology behind it and the level of confidentiality that you can maintain, because that is what is important to the marketplace.
As someone with an LPO business, speak to profitability.
Well, profitability, I'm working towards it. I'm getting there because the investment is significant. But once you have contracts in place, I'm sure that we're going to be making it. The Jamaica landscape is about to change significantly because with the LPO services, what you're going to find, instead of the lower level value chain service that Jamaica gets, the LPO service offers significantly more income for Jamaica. And so I would really be delighted if many other players get on board, get this business moving in Jamaica. We are equally and even more so up to it than India in terms of our location, in terms of the language that we speak, and so on. So I just want to say I'm very happy where Jamaica is heading and the work that JamPro is doing. Norman Manley Law School, that's where I was trained. I'm very happy for the work that they have been doing and the fact that they have come on board with it as well.
So you attended today's forum. What are your thoughts?
It was a very interesting forum. I've been watching JamPro for quite a few years, and I am interested in finding out the success rates of all the entities that they support. A lot of energy goes into it, a lot of investment goes into it, and I think analysis of the ones that succeeded and the ones that failed would help them in their model in future endeavors. They have identified LPOs as a future market that we could enter and also do a lot for the country and the people, especially with worthwhile jobs. Because so often the children in schools are demotivated. They're in an environment which doesn't engender easy learning. They have problems which affect their whole studying, and yet we have so much talent and so much success. Therefore, they are quite a pool that we can call on, especially with good training. And what came out of the meeting today is in the conversation was that we need to change a culture so that they understand that going through school, it was a matter of scoring to pass exams, getting certificates, getting degrees. But now it's about creativity, innovation, credibility, reputation, and no mistakes. Because when you make a mistake, it's very hard to recover.
And Marlon, the audience is asking if you could come up here to make a presentation, because I want to see more of you. To provide some guidelines as to creating the perfect LPO business, if that exists.
The sliver we talked about, the sliver of that $40 million that we talked about. Thank you very much. How big that can be will be directly influenced by how much you can scale. Countries like India participate really substantially in that revenue in the market. And one of the big reasons is there are so many of them. And there are so many of the Indian population that are trained as lawyers. For Jamaica, what are we now? How big are we now? 2.7 million people. Of those, proportionately we're training a lot more lawyers than our market can absorb, but certainly not enough to power number 2 or number 3 LPO industry globally. That, however, is not a factor that's limiting enough to keep us out of the space. I say that because countries like Israel, most of the outsourcing Microsoft does is to Israel. That's as a result of a number of factors, including the fact that the guy who runs eDiscovery at Microsoft is from Israel. But they do well not just with Microsoft, but with companies like Microsoft as well. And they are participating meaningfully in that revenue, $4 billion it is now, that the market is seeing. So all that to say, scale's an issue, but don't think it's an issue that should hinder our progress in the space. Rates may be an issue. If we think in US dollars, you can get services from India as low as $10 US an hour. I'll just let that soak for a second. It may be challenging for Jamaica to deliver those services at those kinds of rates. India is the outlier in that respect. So countries like South Africa or Australia also can't deliver services at those rates. So that, again, shouldn't be the reason we don't play a meaningful part in the process. On the issue of rates and cost, Velma talked about the technology. In my practice at my firm, there are certain pieces of what we do that we offer on alternative fee arrangements. So we are able to say to a client, for a fixed fee of X, you'll get the work done. You don't have to worry about the hourly billings or whether it's going to be higher or lower. X is your cost. And we're able to do that because of what we've done with the technology. So we've tossed technology at these pieces of the process that takes away the human input that's required. And so that fixed fee, the margins on that fixed fee becomes bigger and bigger and bigger as we perfect the technology, because we need less and less and less human time input in the process. So technology is a key piece of how Jamaica could think about how we compete with respect to the rates that can be offered in other places. The time zone issue, few people mentioned, I think that's actually neutral for Jamaica. because the intention would be, I would think, to service both North America and the UK. We have strong enough ties with both of those jurisdictions to provide services to those jurisdictions successfully. For North America, we have a strength in terms of the time zone. If we're going to collaborate in the way that I know law firms there like to collaborate with their outsourced partners. For the UK, we have the advantage also of being up while they're asleep. Security and ethics was a big concern for a lot of North American and UK companies and law firms thinking about the outsourcing alternative. Security in the sense that you're sending your data overseas to these countries that have less rigid controls around data privacy and data security than your jurisdiction does. Many clients would kibosh the idea for that reason. As Velma mentioned, that's less of an issue now, given the way in which these operations can be structured, where the data actually sits in the host country, while the lawyers in the service delivery center can access that data over the internet. The ethics issue has traditionally been a big issue. Some clients are uncomfortable. We know that North American lawyers and UK lawyers are trained to behave to a certain ethical code. The regulations are similar in terms of professional regulations, and people trust that, and people are comfortable with that. Not so comfortable when you go to India, where there have been examples of not so ethical behavior around things. So you're a massive telecommunications company, and you need document review. It's a highly confidential case. You send that case to your LPO provider, people begin to take pictures of certain documents, people begin to record the contact information of a CEO or a head of marketing because they know they're going to move to that place soon, and they want to be able to contact somebody to get a job. These are all things that have happened and have scared certain clients into not wanting to try the alternative depending on where it is. But LPO providers have responded to that with things like, access controls for areas in which people are working. People can't bring cell phones in. The databases they work in are locked down to read only. People can't print information from the documents they're reviewing. So where we stand today is that, at least in North America and certainly in the UK as well, the market is much more comfortable from a security and ethics perspective. So again, that shouldn't be a barrier that stops Jamaica from participating in the space.
So we were approached by JAMPRO to look at legal process outsourcing. We obviously are the strategic player in the market in that we provide vocational training for attorneys at law after they have completed their undergraduate studies. And we also have a research publication education unit, which also provides training beyond our core training of practicing as attorneys at law. So this was obviously an opportunity that we could not miss.
What would you say was the benefit of this forum for attendees, I guess specifically the graduates of your law school?
There were a mixture of persons in the audience, younger graduates, older persons who have been out for some time, looking at opportunities to be LPO providers, and also our young graduates, or the employability of our graduates is something we are concerned with. And I think the panel was able to set out a know-how, some of the risks, some of the challenges, and to explain the market so that people could better understand it. So really it was an educational forum.
In regards to some challenges that were listed by your panels, it sounded like a lot of those can be worked out if lawyers partner with businessmen or entrepreneurs in order to get it off the ground. What are your thoughts on that?
That's clearly so, that we're talking about entrepreneurs, whatever their sets of skills and competencies coming together to provide a space in the market. One of the challenges is scale, as was said, and so it's about people coming together and providing strategic partnerships to deliver the skills.
So now you're having a forum on LPOs. What's next for Norman Manley Law School?
The Norman Manley Law School is interested in providing the training. Many of us are trained abroad. I practiced in the UK for 10 years. We have a pool of people to pull on so that we can actually train attorneys in the kind of practices that will be required from the firms from the UK, the firms from the US. And so we provide the base training, pull in the talent from abroad. So we're looking at providing training so that our graduates can take up the opportunities.
Special thank you to JAMPRO in association with Norman Manley Law School for putting on an informative session. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage of the Legal Process Outsourcing Forum. I've been your host, Amita Pasadweb, and thank you for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got the chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, you know, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them, teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, you know, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs to fund for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2 or 3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production and going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent, excellent, excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with just proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
My name is Blake, and with my wife Tishai, a year and a half ago, we established Def Can Coffee. We are a not-for-profit social enterprise aimed at engaging, equipping, and empowering deaf youth. So Def Can Coffee started by just taking our students on a field trip to meet Clark, who is a deaf coffee farmer from St. Elizabeth. And Clark, if you meet him, you'll never forget him because he's a character. And he is 78 years old, has grown and roasted coffee on a little farm in St. Elizabeth his whole life. As a family friend of my wife's who grew up around Clark, we decided, hey, let's take our kids to Clark's farm in St. Elizabeth, let them meet him, and just see if they wanted to learn more about coffee. Because at that time, we just wanted to expose our kids to a role model of somebody who's doing something as a deaf person. Well, the kids got so excited about coffee, they came back to Kingston and said, hey, can we roast coffee like Clark? We said, hey, we can try that. And so we got this little tabletop roaster that roasts a ½ pound of coffee at a time. We got some green coffee from Clark, and we started roasting. And pretty soon the boys say, well, can we taste this coffee too? We say, sure. So we got a Mr. Coffee machine that was collecting dust on the shelf, cleaned it up, and they started brewing coffee. And then people would come by and they'd say, hey, you want to taste our coffee? People would say, yeah. So they taste it and be like, wow, this is really good. And it's like, yeah, it's fresh roasted coffee. It's got to be good. And then people say, well, can we pay you for this cup of coffee? And we say, okay. And it just really organically grew because the boys were doing everything as a group. As they started selling coffee to customers, their smiles got a little bit bigger, they started getting pride, and they felt affirmed. They had positive attitudes about themselves. About a year ago in March, we decided actually to not just roast coffee, but to start a small coffee shop here at the school campus. After 3 months of running it here at the school, we said, this has potential to actually employ people. This has potential to go beyond just the walls of this campus. And so in July of last year, we actually registered Def Can Coffee as a business name and started the formal process of developing ourselves as a legal entity. The name Def Can Coffee, when I look back on it, I just have to say, God knew what we needed. We never really had a lot of discussion. We never did a whole lot of thinking about what the name was going to be. So we just talked to the boys group, the boys Bible study group that this all started from. We said, what do you guys want the world to know? What is your message that's going to be the core of your being moving forward? And they said, we want people to know that we can. And we just kind of wrote out on the board, Def Can Coffee. It wasn't until a few months later that we actually registered the name when we felt like, yeah, this is the right thing to move forward with. But it just kind of happened. Because the boys, that's the message that they want to share with the world, is that they can do anything. And so Def Can Coffee was the resulting name. When we started, we had no idea that we were going to have a business. It started as just like a kind of a project to get the kids a little bit more excited and to have more confidence. We started with just roasting coffee, and so we were bagging it and selling it. And then from there, we started doing espresso-based drinks and lattes, cappuccinos. And then some people said, well, you know, it's already hot here. Some people are going to want cold drinks. We said, yeah, absolutely. So the boys saved up their own money and bought a blender, started doing frappuccinos. And then somebody said, well, let's blend up some fruit. So they started doing fruit smoothies. And then somebody said, well, we want to do a milkshake. So they started making milkshakes. They're working now on kind of a roots drink using vegetables and fruits and blending those up to make a really healthy drink. This is Nitro cold coffee. What we have is a keg, and inside of it is cold brew coffee. I think we're the only people in Jamaica that are doing nitro cold brew coffee, which is cold brew coffee put into a keg, pressurized with nitrogen, and then the nitrogen gas infuses with the coffee, and it's served on tap. So we compare it to Guinness and tell people we have Guinness coffee. Tastes like creamers in the coffee. It's delicious. This is entrepreneurial business education. And so grades 9, 10, 11 students came with their own recipe, and they bottle cold coffee and added vanilla flavoring to it. So it's an energy drink that's bottled and you can just grab it and go. We do kind of anything coffee, whether it's hot or cold. Anybody could come here and get something they want. We've had multiple people who are coffee connoisseurs who have come in here and said that this is the best coffee they've ever had in Jamaica. We've also had people that come in here and say, coffee? I don't want to drink coffee. Coffee's gross, you know? And so we'll serve them something else and they'll find something that they like. So whether you're a coffee purist or whether you want something that's sweet or whether you want something that's just a fruit smoothie that's healthy, that is refreshing, helps you keep going, we have something for you. So really, I feel like we can match most demographics and most market segments. Our tagline that we operate by is engage, equip, empower. My wife, being a deaf Jamaican herself, has grown up where she has seen a lot of people try to help deaf people. And a lot of their approach to helping somebody is by giving them things. And then they would wait to see what the deaf person would do with it. And inevitably, nothing would happen. And the person would walk away saying, oh, the deaf person can't do it. So we started from a basic principle that our students have to be engaged and have to have ownership in it. And so we said, okay, we'll save up your money that you're earning from these coffee sales and buy better equipment. So they bought their first espresso machine, they bought their first grinder, and it continued to grow with their own participation. So that's engagement. Once they're engaged and have ownership and want it, but then they need the skills to be taught to them. So that's when we partnered with various coffee shops. And Sidecar Coffee from the US was our first critical partner, and they were willing to come down here and put on a 2-day intensive barista training workshop for our students, and 17 of our boys got certified as a level 1 barista. And from there, it just has continued to take off where as we need funding, they save up their own money. They have objectives and goals of what they want to save up for next. They save up, and then we go out and get it. When we built this training center, this was really because as we saw the growth that happened in the first 4 to 6 months of the small coffee shop, we said, there's so much opportunity here because the kids want to learn more. And so we reached out to Digicel Foundation here locally and said, we have this vision, this dream of having a cafe training center. And they came and did a site visit and loved what we were doing and came alongside of us. Digicel Foundation gave us a $3.5 million grant to build the space that we're in right now. We also received funding locally from Harvest Call Jamaica, which is the not-for-profit that my wife and I operate here in Jamaica that does things outside of just the deaf schools. We also work with children's homes and infirmaries and hospitals, but we also got $10,000 US grant from them to build this training center. But my wife does not want us to go looking around for a lot of donations and freebies because the kids need to have ownership of it. They need to feel involved and that it's part of their business. The business part of it, where we actually go mobile and have a business that caters to the public, is something that's really self-sustaining. We don't want to look for a lot of outside fundings for that because we want them to feel that it's theirs. We are making a profit. Again, because we've been operating within a school setting and students, and it's basically training for them, there's not wages or salaries. We're not paying full-time workers. So we don't have some of the overhead that a traditional business would have. Or as we grow and go out into the public, we will eventually have one day. We don't really have opening public hours. We don't want just random people coming off the street and coming here because we have children and we have to make sure that our children are taken care of and that they're protected. So we can't just have really strangers coming in. But we do have people that keep hearing about us and they show up at the gate. And if we're here, we'll gladly open up and serve them. But moving forward, we'd like to have a public space where then the general public can just go there to an offsite location. One of our goals at the very beginning was to create community, because that's really one of the things that our deaf youth lack in their life is community, that they really feel a sense of belonging to. So from the very beginning, we wanted to nurture that and make sure that we protected it and make sure that the boys that this started with, that it was theirs to run. But as it grew, deaf as adults started hearing about what we were doing. And so we started getting interest from outside people saying, hey, I've heard about Deaf Can Coffee, I'm deaf, can I get involved? And so we're not actively out there seeking people, they're coming to us, and through that we're able to kind of filter through the people that really want to learn and versus the people that are just kind of discontent with life and want something easy. Because one of the key principles that the boys understand is that you have to work hard. You know, business takes hard work, and you have to be committed to it, and you have to work together as a team. Through that, we've developed Carlisle and Fabian as a manager and assistant manager, where they're really the leaders moving forward, and they know who to contact if we need somebody else. We have deaf culture already in existence, which has its own set of norms and values, and we incorporate those fully into the business. And so things have to be visually friendly, things have to be spatial. In our training center here, everything's open. And so there's not a way, so we can have a group of kids that are in a circle or a semicircle where everything is visual. Everyone can see everybody and they can communicate clearly. So everything we do is kind of in a semicircle and open. And that's a cultural value from deaf culture. But then within the business culture, we're creating very much an emphasis on interdependence. First, we're very dependent on others. As a child growing up, we're very dependent. As we get into being teen years, we want to be very independent. We don't want anybody to tell us to do anything. As you become an adult, you realize you have to be both. You have to be dependent and independent, and that's interdependence. Don't you just focus on an area that you're really good at and try to become the best. Try to raise up the level of your peers too. And so through that, they're working together. And that's really what we want to embody in our culture, is a body that it's all about the team. And if one person fails, then we all fail. The concept of entrepreneurialism is something that our students didn't have a real strong grasp of before we started this. But as they've grown their own business, they're starting to realize what being an entrepreneur is all about. Mostly it's about learning. And a lot of the things that they've learned the most is that you have to take risks. And you have to be calculated, you can't be foolish, but you have to try something. And so we are seeing more creative thoughts coming out of them in ways that we never really anticipated. We're seeing artistic sides of our students come out when they're thinking about marketing. They're saying, okay, how can we make this more visually appealing? And so we actually had students design by hand sketch a new logo for our cold coffee bottled energy drink. So one of our deaf students drew that, and then we sent it to Justin Forbes, who's a deaf graphic artist here in Kingston, and he developed the logo more fully for them that's digital that we print today. So in a lot of different ways, entrepreneurialism is starting to affect the way that they think, and starting to realize that inside of every one of us we have creative capabilities and ideas that just have to be tapped into.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We believe that DEFCAN can really go anywhere. And when you ask some of our boys, they're going to say, we're not just thinking about Jamaica, we're thinking about DEFCAN coffee being all over the world. And one of the reasons for that is because 90% of the coffee in the world is grown in third world and developing countries. In third world and developing countries, you're by default going to have less governmental program, less intervention, and lower education standards for deaf people. And so you can literally go into a coffee-producing country where there's already going to be a disenfranchised, at-risk deaf community. And you can go in and you can get them engaged in that. And once it's a deaf person that's going in and training and teaching, deaf people by nature will just flock to it. And so the deaf community throughout the world does not share the same language, but they share the same cultural values. And so our guys could literally go to another country and walk around with a DEFCAN coffee sign anywhere where there's a deaf community, and people will come and want to know more. And you can engage people through that. And once they're engaged and want it, then you can equip them with the skills necessary to run it. And once you have a person engaged and equipped, that leads to empowerment. And so our boys have dreams and visions of being beyond just Jamaica. And that's something that I absolutely believe can happen. I think there are a few things that are critical for an entrepreneur. First, you have to believe in something. If you don't believe in it, there's no way that you're going to be able to convince and convey to your customer that it's worth their time or their resources to buy your product or service. And so it has to be something that you're passionate about. You also have to have a vision of where you want to go and allow that to guide your decision making. So here for us at DEFCAN Coffee, our vision is to have a deaf community and deaf youth who are empowered. And so every decision we make is, do we believe that this decision will lead to our youth becoming more empowered, or will this become a distraction? Besides kind of the theoretical vision things, you have to put in a lot of hard work. You have to be willing to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to take risks and learn. Every time you make a mistake, it's a phenomenal opportunity to learn something, and you'll never make that mistake again. Unless you don't want to view it as a learning experience, you want to be frustrated by a mistake, then you'll end up making that same mistake again. Success for us is not defined by what margin we're making, how profitable we are. We believe that if our students are getting the skills necessary and the self-esteem and confidence necessary to perform, that will all take care of itself. I think for my wife and I, our biggest fear is that somehow through a failure to guide this social enterprise properly, that we could actually end up convincing people that deaf can't. So what I mean by that is, and some of the experiences that we've learned from by making mistakes, say we have the opportunity to open up our own shop somewhere, and we say, all right, yes, let's do it, but we're not ready to do it. If we open up our own shop and have our own storefront and everything, but we're not actually to the point where we're mature enough as a business to handle that, and it fails, everybody that walked through those doors and saw it close are going to look at it and say, oh, Def can't. And so we've been very careful about how we grow the business. We've used the analogy with the students of as a child grows, they grow from an infant to a toddler to an adult. And as an infant, you learn to crawl, and as a toddler you learn to walk, and as an adult you learn to run. So we use that analogy with them and say, hey, we're still crawling and we're still walking here, we're not quite ready to run. Because if we don't manage that properly and allow it to grow sustainably, people are gonna realize that Def can't. And that's the antithesis of what we want people to believe. We want everything we do to affirm that Def can. What motivates me is people like Clark, the man that started this, people like my wife, who are, through their lives, proving to people and demonstrating that Def can, that literally Def can do anything, and that there are some ways that Def can do things better. I get excited when somebody comes in here and says, wow, this is the best espresso I've had in Jamaica. And you see our guys, smile and stand up straight, and they're proud of themselves. That's what motivates me. Those moments where somebody comes in and says, wow, Def can. And then the response of our guys that say, yeah, we know. And as that confidence within them grows, they're starting to believe in other things they can do outside of coffee. And they're getting more confidence, and their own creative talents are starting to bubble to the surface. And we've realized that as we go and share this message, some of our boys are phenomenal with crowds. They're great with an audience. An audience will be sitting out there, and they'll be telling them a story, and their expressions that comes through their facial expression and their body language just captivates people. And realize this person could be on stage. They could do anything. And those moments where the general public gets it, where they say, wow, Def can, and those moments where our youth say, yeah, we know, that's what motivates me. I live for those moments where people just get it and they say, wow, I want some more of this. When you just can't go to sleep at night. When you're dead tired, you're completely spent, and you lay your head down, an idea pops up. And then your brain starts going again, and you just can't turn it off. So you're up at 2 a.m, typing something out, or emailing somebody with something you want to tell. And just those are the moments where you're like, wish I didn't have this thing on my mind. And then you say, well, if I didn't have that, would life be as exciting as it is? And so learn to embrace those moments of inspiration, and to realize that those moments where you wish you could just turn off your brain but it's still going are actually some of the greatest moments to really just focus, get the clutter out of your mind, and sit and just put things on paper, get them out and think about them. But I love the interaction that we have with different people that Def Can Coffee is attracting. Literally attracting people from all over. We've had people from all over the world that have heard about us and have come to see it. They may not be flying to Jamaica specifically for it, but they hear about it and they want to come see it while they're visiting. And then to have local Jamaicans that have come here and to realize, wow, the deaf community has a lot to offer. And so what we're hoping is that through this, other employers will come and see what the kids are doing. They'll see the commercials they're making. They'll see, the cakes they're baking and say, hey, I have a job for you. You can come work for me, because we're not really all about just trying to create this massive Def Can Coffee organization. I believe that because we are addressing a root issue in the lives of vulnerable people, that's God's heart. God's heart is for the vulnerable. He's for the oppressed. He's not about the people who think they have everything in life. And I think that as we have very carefully tried to address the true lack that's experienced in the lives of our kids, that God is blessing that, and He's growing it to allow us to fill up their cups so that our kids lack nothing anymore. They don't lack the confidence, they don't lack the skills necessary, they don't lack the opportunities in life to really grow themselves and use the gifts that He's given them.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
As we've traveled around now, going through different places, then Digicel Foundation heard about us, and we showed proof to them that we could do it, that Def can. Digicel Foundation was so impressed by what they did, they gave us a grant to build the training center. And so now, as you saw over there, we have a new silver espresso machine that's really powerful. We're really happy for what we have. Our goal is to continue to grow our business. I think probably the most satisfying experience that I've had so far has actually had nothing to do with a cup of coffee. It's when I've seen my boys, our young men, stand in front of a group and professionally and powerfully explain the story of what's happened with Def Can Coffee. And when people in an audience, you see just a little bit of water get in their eyes and just a little bit trickle down because they're so touched. Because our boys are developing the confidence that their natural gifting and talent is starting to bubble out to the surface, and people are seeing that. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing somebody that really hears the message of Def Can and can believe it with all their heart. Some of my favorite things to do are to get out of Kingston and go to St. Elizabeth. Where my wife is from is an area called Top Hill, St. Elizabeth, and it's the most beautiful place on earth, in my opinion. And so we'd love to go out there, just hang out. Love to go down to Treasure Beach and swim and hang out, enjoy the country life. Being an entrepreneur is full of sacrifice. There are times where you sacrifice relationships, but you have to balance that, because if at the end of the day you have a successful business but fail in relationships, then the business has no merit at the end. So there's a balance there. You sacrifice a lot of time. You sacrifice financially. There are times where you have to contribute to help the business grow and to take care of something that is just kind of out of scope but needs to get done. You sacrifice with other things in life that you like to do, maybe hobbies that you had before. Sometimes you don't have as much. I think my dog suffers sometimes. I don't spend as much time with her as I'd like to. We have some exciting opportunities coming up. Nothing is set in stone yet, but we're very possibly going to be opening up a full-time cafe or a coffee shop inside of another cafe. It's not named yet. They haven't decided on their branding yet. It'll be on Hope Road, and it will be their own cafe where we would be the coffee service. So they would be doing food, bistro kind of stuff, and we would be providing the coffee service. So that's one opportunity. We've also had a couple other organizations that have reached out to us and said, hey, we'd be interested, in maybe you running a coffee shop inside of our business at some point down the road. But nothing is set in stone. So right now we're focused internally, using our new training center that we have here, thanks to the Digicel Foundation, and working with them. Also, JN Foundation has reached out to us. They have a social enterprise booster initiative called SEBI, which we're in the process of applying to become a part of it. And then they would really walk alongside of us and help us develop some of the internal mechanisms that we need to give us a foundation where the business can grow. Def Can Coffee encouraged a group of our students who are grades 9 and 11 to join Junior Achievement. It's boys and girls both together. And through that Junior Achievement program, they came up with a vanilla cold coffee energy drink that's in a bottle. And this is what it looks like. As we've grown, we've said, all right, we want to create a message about this. And so reach out to somebody that can help us. But then as much as possible, we bring that internally. So we create a message for the National Inclusive Education Conference that happened last November in Montego Bay. And we developed kind of a framework for the message, but then the students kind of decide what they want to portray through that poster. And that poster was all about comparing a negative view of deaf person that says deaf can't with a positive view of deaf person that says deaf can. And that was really powerful. We've used that one medium in a lot of different ways. As we go travel mobile, we'll put that poster up on the table and allow people to come by and read it, because just by the interaction they have with the baristas, they're not going to get the full depth of the story. But then the story's right there in print form where people can read it and understand what we're all about. But we've honestly, in some ways, tried to hold back on some marketing because, again, we're struggling with this balance of we're on the campus of a deaf school. We can't just have too many people coming in and ruining what we're trying to do with the kids, because that has to be the primary focus. But as we go mobile, as we go out into the public, we're working on developing different marketing tools. But our website is phenomenal, and it's developed by one of our deaf students. He's a graduate of our school. He's now studying computer science at Rochester Institute of Technology in New York, and he's a computer science major. So he developed our website for us, runs it from abroad. He's actually going to be coming back this summer to do an internship for us to develop some more online based tools. But we're all on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is at Deaf Can Coffee. And so we're pretty streamlined as far as that. When people want to know how to contact us, it's Deaf Can Coffee. Just Google Deaf Can Coffee, and our email address is defcancoffee@gmail. Our website's defcancoffee.com, and then all our social media is there. So online has probably been our most successful mode of marketing as far as reaching out with our message to customers. And that was, probably a year ago when we realized this has viable potential business. That was one of our initial strategies, is go public, go to where the people are at instead of worrying about trying to attract people here. And then the second thing is partner with people. Any press is good press, and so we've had the opportunity to get several print media opportunities where they've written stories about us in the Gleaner and Observer. We've been on TVJ, we've been on several radio stations. We're now on Business Access TV, which we're really thankful and excited for this opportunity. If you're a young person or a person that has a desire to be an entrepreneur, you have an idea that you want to try, then I encourage you to go for it. But you have to understand a few things first. You have to be very committed to it, and you have to believe that what you want to do is going to make the world a better place. If you don't believe it makes the world a better place, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to sell it to your customers and to whoever you want to reach. And you have to really believe in that. And if you don't believe in it, then you're going to run out of the energy, because there are times where you feel like, I want to give up. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. It's too impossible. And if you don't believe it makes the world a better place, then you're going to say it's not worth it. But if you look at some of the greatest businesses the world has ever known, it started with somebody that said, I believe my idea can make this world a better place. And when you start with that premise, if you believe that, then there should be nothing that stops you. And then my other encouragement is that as you go, don't try to do it alone. Reach out to people and partner with people that can help you. If you're selfish, if you try to keep it for yourself and say, no, I want to hang on to this, you're not going to allow your hands to open up to allow it to grow and to fly. And so you have to be willing to open up yourself to other people and say, hey, I want to work with you, and I want to see how we can work together. And then the third thing is that you have to get the right people around you. If you have somebody that is inside that is toxic, that's cancerous to your organization, no matter how talented they are, no matter how many gifts they have, if that person is not matching the team, if they're becoming more about themselves than the team, you have to be willing to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We can't have this part of our team. And so you have to be willing to sometimes do the tough work, and you have to be willing to say no. When opportunities come that aren't really suiting your business model or your vision, you have to be willing to say no. And as an entrepreneur, you'll have a hard time sometimes saying no, but you really have to be willing to stand firm and say no. And then the last thing I would say is have a business plan. And if you don't know what a business plan is and don't know how to write it, reach out, because there are lots of people that are willing to sit down and offer advice and help you work through some of those components that maybe you haven't thought of.
The idea of smart homes, homes that automatically control heating, cooling, lighting, and appliances in homes, has been the stuff of science fiction for decades, but not anymore. Find out how and why on this episode of Home Sweet Home, where we'll feature the JPS Smart House.
I'm Tishura Gibbs, the Regional Director for JPS for Western Jamaica. Smart Home came about as we look to leverage technology in how we serve our customers. We stand behind our vision of leading an energy revolution and our mission of creating an energy solution for every Jamaican. Our customers' expectations are changing. They're now more focused on technology. They're more focused on having control. And so for us, it was really a fusion of energy and technology, really. And our customers, it was a melting pot for energy efficiency, for technology, and for customer control, which is putting the power in the customer's hands. Any great project requires great partnership. The synergy has to be there. JPS wanted a JPS smart home, but we're not in the business of building houses. And so getting the right partner who was a housing developer was critical. And it was easy to choose Wicon for this process. Wicon is a developer who focuses on giving customers affordable yet beautiful, stylish homes. And it was just really easy to choose Wicon as the partner because they cross all the demographics and they have homes for everybody. And so that partnership was quite seamless. Working with Aisha Campbell and her team at Wicon was one of the best decisions we've made on this housing project. Also, we had ATL who came on board. Now, if we're talking about smart home, the first thing we want to consider is energy efficiency. There's no point in putting a smart home that has inefficient appliances in it. And so we worked with a company, ATL, that focuses on energy efficiency in their appliances. And that really worked for us. Then the platform, the technological platform on which the system operates was also critical to the success of the system. It was important to choose a partner who knew what they were doing, had expertise and experience in the business, and one that could offer security, because a big part of the smart home is security. And so it was really easy to choose G-Network Solutions to work with us. And then once we had our appliances in and we had the platform in place, we wanted to make sure that everything inside, the look, the feel of the unit, had something of luxury and class and style, but then at the same time there was security, there was safety, there was energy efficiency, and there was optimum use of technology. And so it was easy to choose blind concepts. They were able to tailor blinds to fit the unit that we chose for this project. That's what we do.
So we're now joined by Rashid Anderson, Project Manager for the JPS Smart House. Thanks for joining us, Rashid. So I understand that you are the brains behind the technology of the home. Talk to us about the JPS Smart Home.
Let me first begin by saying what we envision at JPS. We are the people leading the energy revolution, unleashing Jamaica's growth and prosperity. And being cognizant of that, we recognize our role that we have to play in the national agenda. So we recognize how important it is for JPS to deliver more energy efficient solutions. So the whole concept behind the smart home is saying, hey, this is an area that we want to deliver an energy efficient solution. And we utilize this opportunity to say, here it is that we have a home that you can eliminate energy waste, you can enhance safety and security, and you can actually generate the energy that you consume. So that was the whole pitch behind the smart home. The smart home is part and parcel of a broader picture. We're actually looking forward to a smart city. We had a visioning session in around 2015, and we created a roadmap, a 5-year plan. And in this 5-year planning, we saw it necessary for us to improve or build on what we call our smart grid. And the whole concept of smart grid encompasses smart city, smart homes, smart vehicles. So that is pretty much, I would say, the genesis or the timeline in which we really started conceptualizing it.
So how does the home work? How does it?
What we do with this home is that it allows you to control all your electrical appliances with the use of a cell phone, tablet, or your computer, right? So here it is that you can be at work and you have your home and you're about to leave office and you want to turn on your air conditioned units, set the mood just right, turning on a particular music, your favorite song, and turn on the lights. So you can actually do it right here in the office on your cell phone, and when you reach home, you'll have that preset for you. Say for example, you left home, and this is an important feature. You left home and you had your iron or your flat iron plugged in. You are able to use your cell phone and connect to the devices and actually turn them off. So you have an all-off feature that you can just press one button and all the devices within the home will turn off.
Oh wow!
So
that's
and then
helpful.
It also has a feature for convenience and entertainment. So of course you can set different music for different rooms that you're in. You can set the lighting to come off or on whenever you enter or leave the room. Also, safety and security is important. So a part of the whole pitch for the home is, if you're at home, you can arm your home using your cell phone, or if you're not at home as well. And once there is an intrusion, whether through window or door or wherever, it will be able to detect, it will be able to send you an alert, email, text. It'll also be able to call the local police station, send off an audible alarm, send off a visual alarm, and the works.
Now you mentioned that the home is controlled from your phone. How does it connect to the phone? Is there an app, and are there any other devices that we can use to control it?
How it essentially works is that you have a brain or a computer within the home that controls all the different appliances. And then from that brain or computer, you can connect via the internet to your smartphone and control it through the use of the phone. So the phone pretty much will replicate what the computer will do at home in terms of controlling the devices. So for the smart features within your home, you can range anywhere between little over $1 million Jamaican dollars up to $5 million. We would have spent close to $5 million on retrofitting this home simply because we wanted to showcase everything that's possible. Right. So we have lighting, convenience, controlling your irrigation, electric charging station, humidity sensors, rain sensors. We went all out to showcase what is possible for the home. Mm-hmm. But it really depends on you and your taste.
What you would need.
Right.
Right, okay.
Don't go anywhere. Home Sweet Home will be right back.
It's the only show that traces the steps of professionals.
From first and second form, I was involved in some club, some activity.
Then gives information on exactly how to get into that same career.
You do need a good grasp of English.
And know you can branch out into whatever area you want to.
Tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Career Moves and catch up on all our episodes at batvja.com.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home.
So you've told us all about the smart home. Now it's time for us to see it. So we'll be taking a short trip to...
The smart home is actually in Meadows of Irwin, which is not too far from here. And yes, definitely we'll be showing you what the smart home is all about.
Yeah, so we'll be talking some more about it. Let's go.
All right, so we have entered our home and it recognizes that we are here. It actually gives you an acknowledgement, it's a welcome home, which is programmable. We also have the LED strip at the kitchen just to give a nice little ambient feel. And of course, just for your own convenience, we turn on the AC at 24 degrees Celsius, just how you like it upon entering your home. So all these stuff, they're programmable. You can configure when you want the light to come on, how you want the light to come on. If you step into a room, you want the light to come on or come off. You can put timers on it. You can preset the air conditioner to whatever temperature you want, so that as you come in, you feel that you are in a smart home. All right, so I'm going to introduce you now to the interface that we have. It's very user-friendly, very easy. And once we go on our home, we can scroll through different categories, or we can look at the different rooms. So for example, if you want to go in the kitchen, for example, and turn off our lights, we can turn on and off our lights. Turn on our TV and at the same time.
And there's the TV coming on.
Right. All right, let's just turn on the music and continue in the kitchen. Let us showcase what else we have. Again, we're all about safety and convenience.
Right.
So right where we have our laundry area, we actually install what is called a water leak detector. So if there happens to be any leak, then we'll get an alert on our phones and tell us that we actually have a leak. Additionally, we have the smoke detector. So if for any reason we have a fire or blaze and the smoke detector goes off, again, it sends an audible alarm and also sends you a message, sends you a text. You can call the fire department as well.
Okay.
First of all, we want to arm our system, ensure that we are secure. So we have officially armed our system, right?
Just from your phone,
just from your phone, we have armed our system. Right? So what we'll do now is to simulate what would happen if it is that somebody was to break in. So we're going to walk over to our window.
I'm gonna break in.
And break in.
Is this open or is it? Oh, I locked it.
All right, so notice that we got an alarm on our phone. There's an audible alarm that comes off as well. Disarm it. And in addition to that, there's actually a program to call. You can actually have it call.
Okay, and that's immediate.
And that is immediate as well.
Okay.
March 16, 2017, 15 hours, 21 minutes, and 50 seconds. Living room / monitoring. Window C3 contact.
Window.
So it actually gives you
the
exactly
detail where
what contact actually opens. So you know exactly what time and which window or door, actually opened.
Was affected. That's very, very good.
All right, so now we're going to take a look in the master bedroom to show you some of the features inside there as well.
And And these are the speakers built in here that we're activating, turning
Right.
on and off. Okay.
So we can go now, we can actually, nice.
Softer music
Soft
if in
music.
here for the bedroom if we'd like.
Inside.
Okay.
We got our lighting and plugs. In the master bedroom, we have a plug that we can turn on the lights.
Nice.
We can also turn them off. Again, we have the blinds that we can control
Right.
from our
Oh,
phone,
really?
which we can activate and turn on and off. Those are the features that we have inside the bedroom right now.
We are now joined by Mr. Gary Hill. He's the owner and director of G Network Solutions, one of the partners on the JPS Smart Home. Thanks for joining us, Gary. So talk to me about G Network Solutions and what it's about.
Okay, G Network Solutions is a company based on providing IT solutions, security solutions. Anything you talk about networking, that's G Network Solutions. We started in 2009. We are based in Toronto, Canada, and now we are here in Jamaica. We do security cameras as one of our main services for commercial and both residential. And with the smart home automation system that we're now just embarking on, it is one of our more important projects because we are now informing Jamaica of what they can have if we go the route of technology, utilizing technology to its fullest. Specifically, what we did with this home was make it smart.
Right.
All right. The technology that we use, the company that we use, is what is called Locks Own System. It's originated out of Austria, and it's a whole home aspect of smart home automation. Now, if you look on the market, there are a lot of smart home automations that are out there, but they are only piece and parcels. What we offer is a whole home solutions. Anything you can think of, we can make it smart. There are 3 stages to smart home automation. One is that it is easily automated. So, for example, your lights, your AC, your television, anything audio visual can be automated. And this is all controlled through any mobile device, which is your phone, tablet, or even your computer as well. Other than that, you have aspects of the home that are intelligent automation. For example, your motion sensors. So if you walk in the room, your music can actually turn on, your AC can actually be activated. So that's a part of the intelligent automation that we talk about.
Are there varying challenges for a new or existing home when implementing these things?
Yes, they are, but there's one positive to the Luxon Smart Home system is that it provides what is called future build. Future build are existing homes that persons want to install infrastructure.
Right.
So for a new home, yes, it is much easier because then we can do all the wiring that is necessary to ensure that the person's home is smart as how they would like it. For the future home, the one that's an existing build, we use more of wireless technology coupled with a few wire technology. And that is how we are able to still make the home smart. So there's no, the limitations are there, but nonetheless, the system facilitates that type of expansion, whether it be a new build or an existing build.
No, you guys went all out on this home because I see it has literally almost everything automated.
Yes. Security, that's everyone's first priority.
Right.
So all your windows, all your doors would be secure, and in that we do implement security cameras because the system is able to integrate with certain security cameras. So you are able to manage and see around the peripherals of your home and within your home, as well as you're able to secure your windows and your doors as well. So the security aspect of it,
that's definitely that's a must.
That's the must package that we speak about.
Okay. Okay, well, Gary, thank you very much for joining us and talking to us about the security solutions and the technology solutions inside the smart home.
You're welcome.
Thanks. More Home Sweet Home when we return.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home.
Right now we have installed a sprinkler system actually in the front yard here. So again, there is a sticker that is pre-programmed to turn on the sprinklers. So I can actually put my phone against. There we go.
And there we have it.
So here we have our EV charging port where you can actually plug into your electric vehicle and charge it. You can actually turn this on and off through the app, as well as monitor what is the energy being consumed by your vehicle.
So are people excited about this smart home concept?
Definitely. In fact, the amount of phone calls I would have gotten since the actual launch till now would have been overwhelming. A lot of persons are asking for what is the next step, where are we going, how is it going to be rolled out, what is the cost. So the interest is definitely there.
And do you foresee any challenges with the commercialization of this type of thing?
Well, one of the main concerns interested customers would have is the fact that we're using technology now and they're asking about the threat of cyber security, hackers, stuff like that.
Right.
And one thing that we have been diligent about is to ensure that all of the automated features have a manual override, a manual backup. In addition to that, we also have ensured that the products that we use would have been certified to industry standards and benchmarked to first class, what we'd expect for security.
And you touched on it, but I was going to ask, in the event of a hurricane, if we don't have current or whatever it is there a key? Is there a AC remote? You know, just making sure that we have all these things and we can operate.
Yeah, definitely. So all the manual modes of operation still exist.
Stand, okay.
Right, so if for any reason that you're not able to connect,
right,
then you
we
can always
still
use the manual.
Go back to the regular way. Okay. What would you say is the biggest selling point of the smart homes, and how would you position it in Jamaica based on, you know, our economy and the situation here?
We would have spent close to $5 million on retrofitting this home simply because we wanted to showcase everything that's possible. We recognize that the appetite of customers, they want more control. They want to be in control of their power, their usage, everything. And I would say the biggest selling point is really giving them that control to manage their energy, manage their appliances remotely, whether at home, and also give them the flexibility, the convenience while doing it. So a big plus for this type of home is that it eliminates waste, energy waste, and you're able to really manage and monitor the energy that you use. So that would, for me, be the biggest selling point.
And if it is that I lose my cell phone, which happens very frequently to us young people, you mentioned that there were manual ways. Is there any other way to get into the house?
Right, there is. So because the app can be installed not just on your cell phone, you can put it on your laptop or a tablet, and it is password protected and encrypted. So if it is stolen, then somebody, even if they have password access to your phone, would need another layer of access to get into the application that controls the device.
The security and all of that.
And also, you can change this remotely from an alternate device. In addition to that, we have technical support. So when all else fails, you can call our technical support and we will guide you through changing passwords or setting it up on another device.
Okay. Is there any maintenance that's required for the smart home?
Well, currently how we design the smart home is really a plug and play. So the maintenance is minimal. What I would say as maintenance would be if you need to replace a battery in any of the sensors or contacts. And because the home is smart, it will actually alert you when the battery level is low.
Okay.
But that's the most maintenance right now that we envision.
Well, Rashid, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Home Sweet Home and telling us all about the JPS Smart Home. I'm interested and I definitely learned a lot.
Thank you, Candy, for allowing me to showcase what is possible in terms of the future for homes. And I really do hope that in the very near future you will be owning your very own smart home.
Thank you.